I think we might be doing gift shops wrong in Planet Coaster 2. Modular gift shops actually first came to the Planet series in Planet Zoo, but with their inclusion in Planet Coaster 2, they've opened up a new way to bring some much needed realism elements to our theme parks, and for a genre that historically almost exclusively just had gift shops as a single counter that you approach, the modularity and the amount of customization is almost unprecedented here. And when they first come out, I did do my best to utilize them to create realistic looking stores. I don't think I quite succeeded. So today I'm going to try again. I'm going to build a gift shop that actually looks like it belongs in a real theme park. And along the way, I'm going to show you a few tricks that completely changed how I build interiors. Hello you, welcome to Geekism. The old adage of exiting through the gift shop is often used as a metaphor for the relentless commercialization of meaningful experiences. But the fact of the matter is that if you're at a theme park, from budget local fares to world-class themed experiences, at some point you're going to walk through a space dedicated to riding on the adrenaline-filled coattails of the ride or the show that you've just experienced to milk you for some extra revenue. And it works. Take Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, Florida. This single park has over a dozen dedicated shopping experiences, and that's just the ones they list on the map. But when Walt Disney's financial reports for 2025 show that in-park merch and food sales account for just under $9 billion, with estimates that half of that are for food and beverage, meaning merchandise sales account for $4 to $5 billion a year, it starts to make sense why these places are so prevalent and such a key part of the fabric of a park. So the first thing I realised is we need more gift shops. Lots more. Meanderville is a park with a main plaza and then 5 themed areas. The main plaza actually already has 2 gift shops. It has Phases, which is named for the celestial-style carousel next to it, and also Worlds of Wonder, which is the park's sort of flagship store. Whilst researching parks and their gift shops for this video, I noted that most parks have a large gift shop that's either central or near the entrance that has a wide range of merchandise from all of the themed areas, whilst the gift shops in the areas themselves are often much more themed and containing products more suitable to the style or theme of the area they're in. So I took the fairly generic interior of Phases gift shop and leaned more into the constellation and moon phases themes of the carousel that it sits next to. And then these 2 shelves here on the right, I took the time to get rid of the generic stuff and turn it into more of a UV and light up and a bit of like astrology crap stuff as well to kind of keep it in theme with the phases of the moon. But it's one thing to just retrofit a few changes to something that's already done. What's it look like if we start with this mindset from scratch? Meanderville isn't really a project, it's loads of little projects duct taped together. One of those projects is this water coaster that's got a little space just there that I think could work for a gift shop. This probably would have just been part of the show building for the indoor section of the ride, but having realised that these high budget theme parks pretty much have a gift shop anywhere you can stick them, I felt like a Testudo area, they needed a pirate themed one, so I got to work on it. The structural style is very sort of Spanish colonial, as you would imagine in sort of Disneyland, and we're sort of carrying on that from some of the buildings we've built outside. And I'm using the internal in-game shelving as well, because the guests will actually use this as a gift shop. I think this is one of the main reasons why we should really give our gift shops the attention they deserve, because now the guests will actually use them. We might have to cheat a little and lie about what it is they're actually purchasing, because there's only so many things already built into the game, and we're going to be changing that up quite a lot from a scenic point of view. But I think it's well worth giving them a lovely space to walk around now that this feature is in the game and frankly is really well implemented. The same way that I think parades have been really well implemented, I think restaurants could use some more food options, but again, the modular nature of them means we can do some really interesting designs. A lot of gift stores in real life are separated into different sections. They might be as simple as having different sections for different items, so there's a place where all the shirts are, there's a place where all the jewelry is, etc. And sometimes it's just more thematic sections, and that's kind of what we're going for here. The other side of this building that we'll get onto in a moment is going to have more themed t-shirts, and then we've got lots of other cool ideas as well. But here I wanted a fairly generic wall that mostly focuses on the toys that you find in these places. This is probably one of the most difficult things to do with the in-game stuff, because whilst we do have these awesome jigsaw puzzles and some other little boxes that can be just used as generic toy type boxes, these things here, here, they're keyrings. Other than that, it's actually a little tricky to make stuff look like toys, I think, without using a lot of pieces, which is where one of my favourite features of the game comes into play, and that's billboards. I think billboards are really underused for a lot of the time, and I understand why. A lot of people don't necessarily have the ability to create the graphics needed for them, but I do think it's one of those things that you really should try and have a look at learning. Find yourself some cheap or free even photo editing software like GIMP or something, and see if you can use the billboards in the game to create some awesome custom media. I'm building this ship sort of centerpiece here. The idea is that this ship will be a model kit that you can purchase, and this is what it looks like full size. I'm actually using the scaling mod here, too much scaling to make that 5%, which is about as small as I'm willing to go. It still makes it pretty large, I guess, compared to the boxes here that you can see. The pirate ship galleon, again, that was just made in Photoshop, and then I'm using one of the toy box stickers there. The barcode is, again, perfect for what we need to do here. I'll very briefly show you what this looks like. Here we've got the ship's wheel, and at the moment it's just a scenery piece that we've sort of laid out onto the shelf, but a little bit of time in Photoshop or your graphic editing software of choice and you can make something like this that very simply and very quickly just recontextualizes that ship's wheel as one of those pieces of toy plastic that costs $50 and lights up and makes horrible noises and has broke before you get to the parking lot. Growing up, I have very fond memories of playing with such tap, but honestly, when I think back to my childhood and think about the toys that really meant something to me, there's only one word that comes to mind.
Take in the sails! Forward, men! Attack! Hello? What's that they've got on the walls there? Lego pirates. On to adventure.
I know everyone has their own Lego era, but for me, Pirates was very much it. I'll be honest with you, I was a bit more of a Playmobil kid, honestly, but the Lego I did have was usually Pirates, and I had a lot of fun with them, and so when I was doing a pirate gift store, this made perfect sense to me. As far as construction goes, it's basically yellow art shapes with billboards on. Again, they really do a lot here. Oh yeah, there's also this guy. So there he is. I found a Lego minifig on the workshop. Here's the link, and I'm genuinely just noticing for the first time that this is taggy. Is there anything that man can't do? Yes, I used a taggy Lego figure and piratified him. I'm really happy with how he came out. As well as the billboarded stuff, I just did some smaller, maybe these could be like mini fig boxes, and I think like this companies with that actually sells the idea really well. The next thing I want to show you is something I don't have time-lapse footage on, and to be honest with you, it's a bit of a nightmare to do because it's also small and tiny, but that is the pin spot trading. I would be remiss at this point if I didn't tell you all that one of the big reasons I'm going back and having another look at my gift shops at the moment is due to a video by Remnant from his park Sonder Springs, and the most recent episode where, amongst other things, he shows off this incredible gift shop. I say this with no hyperbole. I think it is the best thing that anyone has made in Planet Coaster 2, and it was the catalyst for me going back and having another look at my gift shops and real-world examples to come up with what I'm showing you today. I'll be honest with you, the gift shop that Remnant has built is leagues and bounds above anything I could do myself, but I have taken little bits of it and interpreted it my own way here, which I think is an absolutely great thing to do. People often ask me where I get my inspiration from, and I've always said that I cannot do this in a bubble. I need to constantly see other people be creative for my own creative juices to get flowing, and sometimes that just means I'm straight up ripping them off like I'm kind of doing here. Remnant did go for a different approach in how he accomplished this, but I'm really happy using the scaling mod to find basically everything that can scroll down small enough and kind of look like it works as a pin. Obviously very much inspired by Walt Disney's pin setup. They have trading spots all over the place, so they'll have a staff member like this with a little board that you can choose from and swap, and then obviously you can just purchase them as well. I tried to get a few different things going on here, some generic ones here, and then some piratey themed ones that can only be purchased here in the pirate store, and then we've also got some little light up ones here, these Lumino collection. I think all of these little things are really worth thinking about when you are designing not just interiors but your parks in general. I could have just put some more t-shirts here or some of the jigsaw puzzles that the game provides, but looking at Remnant's pin wall and bringing it over into here, now I've instantly got another thing that I can do throughout the park to start to tie some of these areas together. Every stall that I build will now have this pin spot with a similar sign to this, although the wheel here is probably for the pirate area, the others will look a little bit different, and we can do some stall exclusive in each of them, and we can have people set up with their little trading boards around the place as well, where we don't want to do a full store. So I think sometimes it's really worth thinking about all of the extra little things you can put into these places that will help you narratively when you move forward in the park. Okay, that's one half of the gift shop done. Let's do the other half. So this last section then is using the archways that we start on the other side, but rather than being able to walk through them, we're now using them as sort of separate areas that will be themed up with shelving. And this is really one of the key things I found with gift shops looking over them a lot this last week, is that they have these sort of pods almost, these modules that are sometimes even removable. A lot of space in these gift shops seems to be adjustable. I suppose they've always got different options depending on whatever merchandise comes in, but they also have these little sort of coves, these little shelving units that sort of act as their own mini displays, and I think they look really great. So using two of them to show off some shirts, and then I'm using some scenery pieces on top of the front shirt to make them look a bit more piratey. I think it's okay. Obviously, if you look close, you can see that they're a lot more sort of 3D than you want them to be. But I actually think as a glance, as you're moving past, it's a really good idea to give us a little bit more use out of the 5 shirts that we've currently got in the game. I think the ideal solution, personally for me as a PC player, would be to have a shirt that acts like a billboard, basically. Perhaps it's recolorable, and then the square in the middle is adjustable, and you can upload your own image. That would be fantastic. I honestly would love to see a little bit more sort of billboard stuff added into the game, maybe a flag that you can do it to, a couple of different sort of fabric shapes that you could do it to. I think it would really open up some fun options. The other thing we're doing then, in contrast to the tacky toy stuff on the other side, is this section that has some nice statue sort of centerpiece pieces that people would maybe purchase here and get them shipped out afterwards, and they're behind a grate that I saw a lot Disney use in their pirate themed area. And when it's all said and done, it looks like this. So we have a nice little fountain area here, just little sort of photo opportunity, just to sort of break up the space a little bit so it's not just all pure merchandise. And then we have our first unit here then with our Pirate's crest shirt and our pirate ship shirt, and then there's some just bits of detail up the top there, and then down below we've got sort of matching hats and some more board games to fill out the space. And then we have that sort of fancy area with some nice sort of statue pieces, and then they'd be down here in these sort of fancy boxes. And then the next one is another set of shirts, this time some crossed swords and a sort of spooky skull type shape, again with some theming at the top, and more sizes of shirts down the bottom. I think it's really worth taking the time to sort of change the size of the shirts so that they look a bit more natural on there. Even these ones here, turn some of them backwards, turn some of them around, make some of them higher, slower, just makes them look a bit more realistic, I think. But I'm really happy with how this wall has come out. The central area, I think actually might still need a little bit of work, but there's some things I'm quite happy about here. We have 2 stalls acting on either side with some Pegasus stuffies in the middle there. Would love to see more stuffies options, really. I think every theme in the game should have one. But then we have these pieces of 8 flavoured chews. I actually got this from Mineral, I think, used these piles of shirts but scaled down to look like candy bags. A few people in the comments when I shared an image of this a while ago weren't sure what pieces of 8 was. Maybe it's a Britishism. It's coins. They would cut coins up into 8s to use the lower denominations of them, I think. It might be one of those apocryphal things that wasn't actually true, but the pieces of 8, it just means sort of money to me in pirate speak. And the idea of small pieces kind of lent themselves to the name of a candy. So we have those there, and then up the back here we have another section that sort of separates itself from the rest. So we have this first section here, we have this section here set back. This is that first bit we saw with the toys. We've got a few t-shirt rails hanging out as well, but then there's a third section at the back here that's for, again, more slightly fancier stuff. We have this lovely big map here. I haven't done something on this side yet, probably will do, but at some point I've just got to try and get this video out. I haven't got anything out for over a week now. But here we have some lovely candles, some sort of Bath and Body Works style candles, and here just some actual Bath and Body style stuff. Cereria, Mola, and L'Occitane, they're both actual brands of this kind of stuff, I think. I thought that would be a nice little nod to have some real world brands here for them. And yeah, this is me going a little crazy with the scaling mod. There's actual wicks in there, only in the front ones. I deleted them for the back ones and the label for the back ones as well. So that's another good tip. If you're building up shelves full of lots of stuff, you only really need the front row to be detailed. For instance, if you look over here at the Lego stuff, you know, there are boxes and boxes, but only the ones you can see the front of actually have the logo. Obviously the one like back there doesn't have the billboard on it, and the same with these ones. It's only these front ones that have the Lego piece, and the text, the one behind it, is just empty because you're just not going to see it. It just fills up the space. But there we go. Last thing we did was the roof then. Did a sort of basic wooden roof here that sort of curves down either side into plaster, and some fans that are just reused from the tram station. And then over here we did a curved roof. But one of the biggest tips I can really suggest with these interiors is you do the interior first without the roof on it, and then bring the roof in at the last minute. You kind of have to have the roof made, because I think sometimes you just need to kind of bring it down. This concrete block only exists to get the lighting accurate. That will get covered up into the same show building roof that all of this is all going to be one big show building roof. And again, I've said this before, but you know, the park's going to end up looking a lot like this. That's just quite realistic. It's what real parks that have dark rides in look like, honestly. They just have these huge buildings that from ground level you just don't notice. Oopsie daisy, we did some water there. You know, they all look like separate buildings. They all look broken up into parts. There's tree lines in between them, but then when you come up you actually notice it's actually all just one big thing, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Basically everything from the edge of the ride here all the way across this gift store, this creperie, this other just show building, the arcade, the entrance to the ride itself, that's all just going to end up in one huge building that covers all of this. I'm not worried about it from this side, like it's going to all be covered there. The other side is going to be tricky because this is actually going to be the entrance to the park here, coming up to sort of like an entrance like here. Basically it's going to be the big entrance, and then this will lead down into like parking and stuff, so it's going to be tricky to make the building look good from this side. But I always think it's really worth keeping these separate. So you'll see here, look, this roof piece, we can lift that off comfortably, and it's just taking the roof. We always build it on a separate grid piece, so that then you can come down here and do what you need to do, and you're not sort of struggling always with the roof being in your way and having to sort of lean down like this, but just have the roof built but separate, so you can lift it off like a lid, because at any point you're going to want to bring it in and just see. I mean, look, it just instantly changes the vibe of the space once that light is sort of cut off, and then that's why we have to have that concrete roof on, because you get a lot of light bleed up here on these beams. That could be an effect that you want to go for, but obviously we are just going to want to bring that into place as well. I do a little bit of work here with the wall line so it's all neat. There you go, then you get that actual dark ceiling without the bleed there. So you have to kind of treat every interior build almost like a thermos. It's like two layers, an internal one and an external one, with a sort of airlock in between them, and that's how you're going to get the lighting to be exactly where you want it to be. So there you go, the first gift shop that I think I've built that actually looks like a real gift shop in a high budget theme park. I hope some of the tips and tricks in this video help you to create awesome stuff as well. And of course, if you haven't already, please go and check out Remnant's video of his amazing gift shop. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, be good.